Kickstand's a little far forward, but that's okay. Oh, this bike is incredibly well balanced. A little bit of a rock there when you start it. A little shake in the handlebars. Nothing if you haven't ridden a Harley Cruiser before. I mean, this is actually really mild vibration in here in the handlebars. Alright guys, I've been excited to ride this motorcycle since it was the Concept R18. And what we're riding today is the 2021 BMW R18. I am just ecstatic to ride this bike. Like I said, I've been interested in it since I saw it as a concept at least a couple years ago, and excited to review it, give you my impressions of this bike. And if I'm at a loss for words, it's just because I've been so excited to ride this bike. We'll talk about controls. We'll talk about all that stuff as we go, but let's just get to it. that was a rough way to start. Should have put it in gear before we really got going, but my bad. All right. It's a relatively quiet engine and a quiet exhaust, at least it is stock. But once we open it up here, we'll get a better idea of how it sounds. But what we're looking at is an 1802 cubic centimeter boxer engine. It's the largest boxer engine that BMW's ever built. And if you're American and you want it in cubic inches, it's about 110 cubic inches. So nice sized engine. You've got the opposing twin engine, which is, you know, that's different. That's probably the most unique thing about this bike is its gigantic boxer engine. What are we doing here? Oh, see, he's going the wrong way already. This is I don't feel safe. Okay, so let's talk about controls before we get anywhere else. We've got bike power on and off here on the right. You've also got your grip warmers, and then your ignition and emergency shut off on the right. You got your hazards, trip toggle, and then your menu, which is going to toggle through what you can look at here. And then ride mode, blinker, and then horn at the bottom. And just, I mean, before we talk about anything else, let's talk about the fact that this bike, as bare and as raw as it looks, we're not turning here, you get a lot of stuff standard on this bike. We got ABS, I believe is standard. If that's wrong, I'll make sure I put that up. But you've got ABS standard, you've got LED lights, headlight, turn signals, all of that standard. You've got 3 ride modes. I'm not sure what they're called. One of them's kind of funny, but it's road and rain. Rock, there it is. Rock, road, and rain. Rock, roll. We got rock, rain, and roll. We're gonna rock it because we're gonna see how this engine handles when you it's a little torquey when you put it in rock mode. I mean, well, I wouldn't expect anything less out of a bike that boasts the largest boxer engine that BMW's ever made. You're looking at about 91 horsepower, max horsepower out of this bike. I want to say you're looking at a max 136-ish pound-feet of torque. You know, because of the ride modes, you can get more out of this, or more or less out of this engine than whatever it is that you're looking for. You're gonna get a chance to experience it. like I said, because, you know, when we first got on, it was very gradual, very linear roll on the throttle. But when I changed it to rock mode, when I let that throttle out all at once, yeah, I got all that power all at once. So that's kind of cool. And we'll test it out once we can get a chance to open it up a little bit better here. One of the concerns I think that people have about this bike, yeah, gotta stop here. One of the concerns that people had about this bike, I know, is the fact that this gigantic boxer engine has the headers just sticking out so far that, you know, for a longer ride, I'm not going to be able to stretch my legs out here. For a guy, though, that's used to riding a cruiser, and a guy who has shorter legs, I'm only 5'6", and my inseam's about 30 inches. For a guy like me, I don't stretch my legs out, because when you've got like a crash bar with maybe some highway pegs on it, I can barely reach those as it is. So it's, for a guy like me, it's just fine. If you're a taller person, though, I can see that being a concern. But I've definitely ridden cruisers that where I felt more compact. That I felt my knees coming up higher on a mid-control cruiser than they are on the R18. So that's not a problem. And like I mentioned, man, this bike is super well balanced, and making these turns, you know, everything feels so low to the ground with a just above 27-inch seat height. I don't know what the lean angles are on this bike. I couldn't find a statistic on that, but I felt pretty good leaning this bike over. And I doubt that we're gonna find a turn here on this test ride where I'm gonna feel like that this engine's gonna get too close to the ground. And you know, that's got to be something that BMW had in mind. You know, this is a certain kind of bike. It's a cruiser, so they're not expecting someone to ride, you know, super aggressive and really want to lean this over, especially considering you've got the engine sticking out like this. But it just doesn't feel like a worry at all to me. Now, customization is available for this motorcycle. Like, I mean, it's insane. The seat here, there's just, I want to say there's like 6 or 7 different options that you can do. You can add a passenger peg, you can add backrest. If you're a Harley person, and you know how much you can customize a Harley cruiser, this one, the R18, is not too far off from the custom ability or your options to make this bike your own. Now, I'm riding the R18 First Edition, which has the pinstriping that I just love. I think this paint job is awesome and just so classic. I mean, this bike just screams vintage, but at the same time has a lot of modern tech on it that isn't intrusive. I know that a lot of people who ride cruisers, what they like about cruisers is the raw feeling, the raw aesthetic, and not having, you know, all that rider assistance, which this bike does come standard with stability control. And I think to have a bike like this and have tech baked in without it looking like a really technologically savvy motorcycle, I think that's a big deal. You can ride this bike, feel like you're riding a real naked cruiser, but at the same time have all these tools at your disposal. And I can tell you right now, it's just a joy to ride. I love that this gauge is right here above this front headlight, because it's super visible. Even with a full face helmet on here, I don't have to duck my head at all to see my speed. I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, I can get my tachometer here on the screen as well. Let's see if we can find it. Time, there he is. So we've got digital tach and analog speedometer, and I mean, that's just great. Super visible. It might look small on the screen, this gauge, but it's plenty visible. I mean, it's It's no problem at all. We're gonna really lean as far as we can on this turn. Yeah, no problem. So we still have yet to open up this engine and really get an idea of the sound of it. But I mean, it does have a real beefy sound, even despite the fact that the exhaust sounds pretty silent. That's kind of cool. It's a little reminiscent of, you know, I've ridden the R1200R, and it kind of has this like diesel sounding sound to it when you ride it, and it sounds really beefy. I like that sound. But I know a lot of people are going to be wondering what the exhaust sounds like. You can actually swap out the exhaust, but what's kind of funny is that the little fishtail exhaust that's on the bike right now, it seems a bit long. To me, I think it looks really nice. But you do have a couple of other options of exhaust that you can put on here, but they're actually longer than the fishtail exhaust. So I would definitely stick with the one that's stock on this bike. I'm sure that there are aftermarket companies that, if not have already released other exhausts that you can put on this bike that are available. But like I said, we'll get an idea of the sound here once we're able to open it up a little bit better. For a 700 plus pound motorcycle, I already mentioned this before. I mean, it is just this might be the most well-balanced motorcycle I've ever ridden. That's the 700 plus pound range. Oh, see, when low RPM, there you can hear that engine now, or that exhaust now. That sounds nice. Real deep, throaty sound. I like it. If we're all together here, we might be able to get on it just a little bit here on this on-ramp. Got green light. Oh yeah. Could lean pretty well. Nope, we're not gonna be able to do it. This is where it gets tricky on a demo ride. Splitting everybody up with cars getting on the highway. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of power on this baby. Looks like turn signals are auto-canceling, which is also nice. Oh, I want a slingshot really bad because I want to... You know, for a 700-pound bike, this bike does not feel like a big, bulky cruiser. And like I said, at my size, 5'6", about a 30-inch inseam, this is a really good fit for me. And I would go out and say I love this motorcycle. This is dangerous for me. Not dangerous as far as my safety, dangerous as far as my savings account. All right, we're on the highway, and I can't really test this out because the speed and opening it up because of, well, Mr. Camry here, and just the speed of this morning traffic here. But so if you're curious, as far as like the vibration in the handlebars and in the feet, I mean, I think that you feel more vibration in your feet and in the handlebars on this bike than you would on like a Milwaukee 8 counterbalance engine, for sure. And I love it. I absolutely love. You know, I learned to ride on an older bike, and one of my first bikes was a Harley Sportster. And I mean, the handlebar shake and the vibration in your feet and in your hands, arms, I love that. So that's not something that I would complain about. So if that's something that you're worried about, though, this definitely isn't like a really super smooth or does have an RPM limiter. If you rev too high, it's just gonna bring you back. Oh, and this was a really short ride. That's kind of a drag. My other ride let us get back on the freeway one time, so that's kind of a disappointment, but what are you gonna do? I would love to ride this bike again. It is a Friday. I'm playing a little hooky from work. And when I say hooky, I am just gonna work adjusted hours, so let's stay later today. But this bike warrants another ride, and it's gonna take a lot of willpower to not find a way to put one of these in my garage. That's how much I love this motorcycle, even after just that short test ride. But guys, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, please be safe. Be kind to one another. My name is Eric. I'm that one guy, and I am out.